Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are meeting as the Committee of Adjustment. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We do have 4 committee members and we do have staff from our planning department here as well as our municipal deputy clerk. So our land acknowledgement statement. The Township of Hamilton is situated within the traditional territory of the Mississauga, Anishinaabe, and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations. Our work on these lands respectfully acknowledges their resilience and their long-lasting contributions to the area now known as the Township of Hamilton. Sandra, if I could turn item 3 on our agenda over to you, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll go through the process of the meeting this afternoon. The chairman will announce each application as it comes forward, and I, as the planning coordinator, will provide a synopsis of the planning report. The entire report is available on the township website, should you wish to review that. The floor will then be open to the public. Please make yourself known if you wish to speak by raising your hand. The order of speaking is as follows: those persons in support of the application, those persons in opposition to the application, those persons seeking clarification, and the applicant will have a chance to speak at the end should they so desire. Please note that all persons wishing to speak to the application must address their comments and questions to the chair. And before speaking, you must clearly and slowly state your name and address so that the record is complete. Following public input, members of the committee may make comments or ask questions as they deem necessary. The committee may make a decision this afternoon regarding the application. The reasons for their decision and the impact of public input will be provided by committee members. Those persons requesting a copy of the notice of decision must do so in writing to myself, the secretary treasurer of the committee, or you may sign the file sheet in the lobby. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Sandra. Item 4 on our agenda, confirmation of the agenda. Do I have a mover and seconder, please? Moved by Larry. Second by Don. All those in favor? Carried, thank you. Item 5. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest in general nature thereof today? Seeing none, it shall be recorded. Item 6, approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Committee of Adjustments, June 13th, 2023 minutes. They have been circulated. I have a mover to approve. Moved by John, second by Mike. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. I see no business arising from the previous minutes. So we'll move on to item 8 on our agenda. New business. Minor variances done. New businesses, consents. And we do have 3 consents today. P09, 10 and 11-23 in the name of Angela Rose and Joseph McCall. Sandra, your report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is in respect of vacant land on Kennedy Road. The notice of public meeting was circulated to the public on June 26, 2023, and the signs were posted on the property on June 24, 2023, in accordance with the Planning Act. The applications are seeking consent for new lot creation for residential lots as follows. B09 would be a property of approximately 1.88 acres with 235 feet of frontage on Kennedy Road. B10, approximately 2.41 acres with 365 feet of frontage on Kennedy Road. B11, approximately 2 acres with 255 feet of frontage on Kennedy Road. The retained parcel will have approximately 9.7 acres of land and 1,270 feet of frontage on Kennedy Road. The property is within the rural designation of the township official plan. It is vacant land with small immature plantings and a drainage course through the land. The far southeast corner of the property does have a water course. Surrounding land uses are residential and agricultural in nature. The proposal was reviewed with respect to the provincial policy statement, which directs that all planning matters shall be consistent with the statement. I looked at development within the rural area and new lot creation with respect to livestock and also on-site sewage and on-site water services. There were no natural heritage features on the property to be discussed. It's the opinion of this department, the proposal is in keeping with the intent of the provincial policy statement. With respect to the township official plan, again, the property is in the rural designation, which does permit for limited low-density residential development. Various aspects of the official plan were reviewed, and the proposal does appear to be in keeping with the intent of the official plan. This will be the first, second, and third residential consent from the subject property, and that is the maximum permitted by the rural designation. With respect to the zoning bylaw of the township, the subject property is zoned marginal agricultural. There is an environmentally sensitive area identified surrounding the water course within the parent or retained property, and also within the drainage area located within what would be B1023. The two of the lots do not approach the environmentally sensitive area. The marginal agricultural zone requires a minimum of 5 acres of land and almost 200 feet of road frontage on a year-round maintained municipal road. The proposed lots will not meet these zone requirements, but will be in keeping with the rural residential zone provisions. Zoning amendment is required. It's the opinion of this department, the proposal for consent to sever for new lot creation can be brought into compliance with the zoning bylaw. Agency comments. Township Public Works had no objections, but noted that any minor concerns and comments would be addressed during the entrance permit process. Building Department had no objection. Conservation Authority did note that the entirety of the property includes GRCA regulated areas. Any development inclusive of construction, fill placement, or site grading within the regulated areas may require written authorization from the Conservation Authority. The Conservation Authority had no objection to B09 or B11. They also have no objection to B10, but they do note that there is a water course on the property and suggest a condition of provisional consent that the building envelope is established that is satisfactory to the township and the Conservation Authority, and that drawings be submitted demonstrating that the existing drainage will be maintained to the satisfaction of the township and the Conservation Authority. Since authoring the report, I have received a letter from the County of Northumberland. In summary, the proposal has been screened in accordance with the responsibility under the Planning Act to have regard for matters of provincial interest. There are no matters of provincial and county interest pertaining to this development. County and provincial land use policies allow lot additions in rural areas, provided they are appropriately sized. Where livestock exists on or in proximity to the proposed lots, the applicant should demonstrate compatibility between residential and agricultural land uses in accordance with the minimum distance separation document. The proposed lots are appropriately sized for an on-site sewage system to service future dwelling. A sewage permit will be required for any new dwelling as part of the building permit process. And to prevent unintended natural severances and where conditions of severance are not concurrently addressed, the county suggests that the proposed lots be finalized in sequential order. Based on the foregoing, the county has no objection to the proposed severances. In conclusion, upon review of the application with respect to the provincial policy statement, township official plan and zoning bylaw, and the comments from the various commenting authorities, it's the opinion of this department that the applications would meet the intent of the planning documents for new lot creation. Subject to a specialized condition application for B10, application B10 can be made compliant with the zoning with the township and conservation development provisions. It's recommended that application B09 be granted provincial consent subject to the following conditions. Applicant shall submit 3 hard copies, a PDF copy, and an AutoCAD copy of a deposited reference plan. Details are within the condition itself. The applicant shall pursue successful completion of a zoning amendment to rural residential. The applicant shall provide proof of payment of park levy of $1,500. The applicant shall provide proof of payment of taxes. The applicant shall provide 3 hard copies of new deeds within 2 years of giving written notice of the committee of adjustment, notice of decision of committee of adjustment, including that for suitable for stamping, concluding that the above conditions have been fulfilled. It is recommended by that application B10 be granted provisional consent, subject to the following conditions. Again, submission of the reference plan. The applicant shall submit conceptual site plan drawings demonstrating that a suitable building envelope for a single detached dwelling, well, and on-site sanitary system exists on the subject property, and further demonstrating that the existing drainage will be maintained to the satisfaction of the township and the conservation authority. Successful completion of a zoning amendment, payment of the park levy, $1,500, payment of taxes. The applicant shall provide a copy of the registered deed in respect of the lot as ultimately described under B09 to the Secretary Treasurer, and the applicant shall provide 3 hard copies of the deed suitable for stamping within 2 years. It's recommended that B11 be granted provisional consent, subject to the following conditions. The reference plan, the successful completion of a zoning amendment, proof of payment of park levy, $1,500, proof of payment of taxes, a copy of the registered deed in respect of the lot ultimately described under B10, and 3 hard copies of the deed suitable for stamping. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Sandra. It's apparent that our applicants are here today, and you will certainly be provided an opportunity to speak if you so wish. I can see there's very few other people in the audience, but we do need to go through a process, and I'll come back to you. Is there anyone present who would be here in support of the application other than the applicants? Is there anyone here in opposition to the application? And is there anyone here seeking clarification on the application? I'll come back to you as applicants. Would you like me to go to the committee members and see if there's questions, or would you like to speak to the application at this point in time? Go to committee members. I do have one question to staff, so let's not bounce to the motion just yet. Is there any questions from committee members or comments on any of the 3 applications? John, Larry, Mark? I do have one question, and it's in respect to B1023, and it's dealing with the, let me see if I can read it here. The conceptual site plan. Is that going to be a requirement of the condition of severance to be completed, or is that going to be at time of building permit?
It will be a condition of provisional consent. If a drawing cannot be submitted appropriately to our satisfaction, then this particular consent would not be able to be fulfilled, and I wouldn't be able to stamp the deed.
Thank you.
It's just a concept. It's not necessarily what will be built. It's proving that it can be built.
Something can be done.
Yes.
Thank you. Coming back to the applicant, any comments or questions again at this time? Very well. To my committee members, can I have a motion, please? It'll be 3 of them. We'll be wanting reasons for each first. So B0923, can I have a motion, please? With the conditions specified. Moved by Mark, seconded by John. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor of P09. 23 carried. Thank you. Mark, you led us off with the motion. Could I have your reasons, please?
All the reports in support.
Anything to add, John? Thank you. Moving on to B10-23. Do we have a motion, please? John? Approved with conditions specified? Thank you. Could I have a seconder, please? Mark? Any questions, any follow-up questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. Coming to you, John. Reasons, please.
Under the special conditions of
Thank you. Mark, I think you second that. Anything further on that? Okay. Does that one work, Sandra? Can we move on to B11-23? Could I have a motion, please, on B11-23? Thank you, Larry. Motion to approve with conditions as specified. Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by John. Any follow-up questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. Now I get to preach just a little bit. You have received. Now I preach. You have received provisional consent. You will receive notification. You will need to follow through on the conditions in the timeframes allotted. Please don't let the applications lapse. Thank you. Item 10 on our agenda is other business, and I don't believe we have any. Item 11 is adjournment. Would anyone like to call adjournment? Mark, seconder, Larry, all those in favor, carried. Thank you. And we have YouTube as well.